Hey, good morning everybody. July 31st, 2023. It is my birthday today and we are doing the news here at 8:07 a.m. Air Liquid Healthcare. This is in Germany, so I'm just going to show you the footage right away and then we'll talk about it. Let's back up here. Boom. Oh. Protesters. Climate protesters blocking this hospital truck. This guy is not happy. The truck driver. And success, he's able to get through. Man, those kids are so stupid. They are literally risking their lives and risking losing a limb by a vehicle. I mean, yeah, that guy meant business. And he's been the man's man. And let's go about the reasoning here. You're the German truck driver from the medical division of the air gas company. I gotta turn this volume off. Sorry. Boom. Get rid of this volume. I can't stop the volume. From air gas company, which specializes in delivering oxygen to hospitals in Stralsund, has reached their absolute limit with the ongoing climate change protesters. Oh man, just people just protesting everything. Let's keep going. I think they're doing something, but they're doing nothing except getting in people's way. They think they're doing something. This would not fly in America. Police not taking any action because it's Germany. I think it answers everything. Geez, with all the cameras ready to tape the moment that inconveniences surpasses the patience of the people trying to do their job or get home to their families, you would almost think the desire is to provoke and use the images out of context. What was the replies on there? The ones holding the camera are part of the protesters. It's too obvious on why they are getting so much attention in the first place. Influenced by Greta Thunberg. She should be responsible if somebody gets hurt. World needs peace. Instead of blocking the road, use that time to planting more trees will help. Why did he stop? They are impeding traffic. It's on them. Laugh my ass off. The driver is insanely psyched. I think he meant to write psycho, but I don't know. Why inconvenience regular people? That just makes them despise your cause, in my opinion. The world was absolutely run out of patience with climate deniers who block legislation against climate change. Oh, there's some replies on this one. I wonder if the urologist who signed this fake petition by a fossil fuel lobby group was taking the piss. By blocking vehicles, they end up increasing the fuel consumption. Long-distance trucks cannot be run on electric, so there is no other option but these trucks to run on diesel. So these climate protesters need to cut some slack and focus on the big guns who are really damaging the environment. Like blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline, right? Oh, several of the Nord Stream pipelines. Yeah, because that is a real, huge, large impact, worldly impact on the climate. And what about all the countries that are producing these bad, dirty fuels? Why don't you go after them and let the countries produce clean fuels? Oh, wow. Unwanted touch is assault and battery. The earth doesn't need help, people do. As a German who is affected by these criminals, I can only say that people are all slowly running out of patience. The last generation is paid through corners from the America Climate Emergency Fund, CEF, and German state money through Eleanor E. Van Duters, as searches and seizing of laptops, etc. have revealed. This is quite a crude and convoluted thing, and people are tired of standing next to idle police who very likely got announced from above. Here's a reply. And in other parts of the world, people are quickly running out of water and fertile ground due to heat waves. But yeah, be angry about people who get assaulted as they remind you that the way we live our lives is leading to extreme climate around the world. All right, let's keep moving. And then there's some memes. There's Greta. Free Top G. Free the tats. Greta's wedgie. Getting picked on. They're up my ass. My new band. Based German man is based. There should be a law that gets passed. If you refuse to get out of the road for a vehicle after 5 minutes, you can be run over. Okay, here's a guy posted a little information meme or whatever you want to call it. Greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So you have the large blue of the whole circle of the pie. Water vapor is the huge amount. Water vapor is Earth's most significant greenhouse gas, accounting for 95% of Earth's greenhouse effect. Next biggest is CO2, the red one. CO2 is only 3.6% of all greenhouse effects. And then the greenhouse effect is over 99% natural. Nature produces 99.72% of the greenhouse effect. Man contributes only 1/3 of 1%. 1/3 of a percent. 0.333 of a percent. Conclusion: water vapor, which absorbs and traps heat from the sun, is the most dominant factor over the temperature of our atmosphere. Bottom line, water vapor, not CO2, is the most influential greenhouse gas. Facts about carbon dioxide, CO2. Atmosphere produces 720 billion tons of CO2. Human output is 6 million tons of CO2. Now, on the same subject from what I've read and seen before is in, was it Greenland, or was it Iceland? Scientists, researchers dig down 2 miles and remove the ice. I think it was Greenland. And as they pull the ice up, they were able to measure the temperature of the earth, of that area of the earth, when that area was covered in snow and frozen and going through the layers as it builds up the ice, the ice island of Greenland, essentially. And so they were able to calculate it by 0.00 something, and like it froze at minus 30.021 Celsius, right? And this year, and then this year it throws at minus 30 point blah blah blah. And when you graph out over the last 7, 8, 9,000 years, you can see that we were actually in the cold period, when in the last 100 years we were in the cold period. And over the last 1,000 years, we were in the cold period. And now we're starting to come back up out of the freeziness, out of the coldest period, when 6,000 years ago, it was actually 1, 2, or 3 degrees higher. I don't have the graph in front of me. Maybe I can find it.
This ice is from the Viking Age, around the year 1000, also called the medieval warm period. We believe that in Greenland, the medieval warm period was about 1.5 degrees warmer on average than today.
Nordgrip, the Greenland ice core project, is being reopened to drill the last few meters through the ice sheet to the rock beneath the research station. The ice core, over 3 kilometers in length, has been hauled up to the surface piece by piece and contains important data on the history of the climate of the Earth.
Okay, guys. Sorry about all the background noise here. I'm at the park. And so 3 kilometers deep drilling down, and then they measure the temperature. It's really awesome.
It bears the fingerprints of climatic conditions over more than 120,000 years.
When we remove or drill the ice core, we leave a hole, and we insert a thermometer in the hole. We are able to map out the temperature through the 3-kilometer ice sheet. Now that temperature, if we do it precisely enough, a thousandth of a degree accuracy, then the ice has not forgotten how cold or warm it was.
A thousandth of a degree. That is super accurate. To a thousandth of a degree, guys. Wow.
The surface at the time the snow fell. So, using those temperatures, we have been able to reconstruct the temperatures of the last 10,000 years. Here we have our picture of...
Yes, so reconstructing the temperatures of the last 10,000 years. Also, guys, I'm pausing and talking because this is all probably copyrighted stuff, so we got to break it up.
The temperature temperature reconstructions that we have from Greenland in a graphical form. And if we go back along this axis, it's going back in time. This is the last 8,000 years we have plotted here. On this axis, we have the temperatures at the site in Greenland, and we can see that if we go back from now about 4,000 years ago, we would have temperatures up here for about 4,000 years that were 2.5 degrees warmer on average than today.
2.5 degrees. Okay, so we're getting our numbers down, guys. I mean, this is science, and people are welcome to push back on it, because science is always needs pushback. It needs debate. There's no such thing without science without debate. So anybody go and debate these guys, you know. And there's more to this. People are looking at the temperature of the Earth through old trees as well, and old dirt in other areas of the country, digging stuff up. So there's a few angles that they combine to verify all this in the Earth in Greenland. So wild. This is on my Rumble page, guys. If you haven't seen it, just look. Just go to Irnieracing and Rumble. Oh, 7.5 thousand followers. Not too bad these days.
Now, as we approach our time, we can see that in the period between 4,000 years ago and back to the period 2,000 years ago, which is actually the Roman age, the temperatures have been decreasing in Greenland by 2.5 degrees. Then the temperatures increased gradually up to a maximum point around the medieval warm period. We call it 1,000 years ago. And then temperatures declined and goes down to a minimum around 1650 AD, comes back up a little in the 18th century, and then around 1875 we have the lowest point in the last
1875, the lowest point. So, and then of course they've only started measuring in our modern era, like having the Mr. Weatherman bullshit over the last 100 years or so. So they only have been taking the temperature and propagating the climate change. Oh, look, over the last 100 years have we been measuring, since we've had weathermen, it's been rising slowly. Oh, okay, back from our regular scheduled commercial break.
8,000 years, right here, and that matches exactly the time when meteorological observations started.
Other core samples from elsewhere in Greenland confirm that the Little Ice Age ended about 140 years ago, at the coldest point in the last 10,000 years. Back in time has also been confirmed elsewhere in the Northern Hemisphere. Carbon-14 dating of organic matter from peat bogs and tree rings confirms the pattern.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about, guys. From tree rings and earth, they've confirmed the pattern of the temperatures. Fantastic, right?
So do data from stalactite caves in China and measurements from North Africa.
The problem is that and I agree completely that we have had a global temperature increase in the 20th century. Yes, but an increase from what? Probably an increase from the lowest point we've had.
Bam! Exactly. So yeah, okay, it is increasing, but from the lowest point we've had in the last 1,000 years. And how hot was it, you know, all the years before? In the last 10,000 years, we were at the lowest point by 2.5 degrees. So expect it to go up. Yeah, nothing to do with humans.
For the last 10,000 years. And this means that it will be very hard indeed to prove whether the increase of temperature in the 20th century was man-made or it's a natural variation. That will be very hard because we made ourselves an extremely poor experiment. We started to observe meteorology at the coldest spot in the last 10,000 years.
Bam, there you go, exactly. So they only, in the last 100 years, they only started to do this in the last coldest period. You know, let's go back to the graph again.
Here we have our picture of the temperature reconstructions that we have from Greenland in a graphical form. And if we go back along this axis, it's going back in time. This is the last 8,000 years
8,000.
we have plotted here. On this axis, we have the temperatures at the site in Greenland, and we can see that if we go back from now about 4,000 years ago, we would have temperatures up here for about 4,000 years that were 2.5 degrees warmer on average than today. Now, as we approach our time, we can see that in the period between 4,000 years ago and back to the period
Okay, there you have it, guys. There's again the periods again, just to show you. Irnieracing News, guys. Thanks for watching.